Welcome to Deb's True Crime Notebook. Follow along with us as we dig into the story of Asha Degree, a 9-year-old little girl who packed her backpack and disappeared in the rainy early morning hours. Asha Degree, born on August 5, 1990, vanished at the age of 9 from Shelby, North Carolina. In the early hours of February 14, 2007, for reasons still unknown, she packed her backpack, left her family home located north of the city, and began walking along North Carolina Highway 18. Despite the heavy rain and wind, several motorists noticed her. When one turned around to approach her, 1.3 miles from her home, she fled into the wooded area. That morning, her parents discovered she was missing from her bedroom, and she has not been seen since. An extensive search initiated that day led to the recovery of some of her personal belongings near the last known location. A year and a half later, her still packed backpack was found at a construction site along Highway 18 north of Shelby and Morgantown, at the spot where she ran into the woods. A billboard now stands seeking assistance in locating her. Her family organizes an annual walk from their home to the billboard to raise awareness about her case. While circumstances of Degree's disappearance at first seemed to suggest she was running away from home, investigators could not find a reason as to why she might have done so. She was also younger than most children who chose to do so. Years after her disappearance, it was concluded by authorities that Degree had been abducted after she left the home. The case has drawn national media attention. In 2015, the Federal Bureau of Investigations joined state and county authorities in a reopened investigation, offering a reward for information that could help solve the case. Harold and Aquila Degree tied the knot on Valentine's Day in 1988. A year later, they welcomed their son O'Brien, followed by their daughter Asha in 1990. The Degrees raised both children in their home on Oak Crest Drive, located in the residential area of rural Shelby, North Carolina, which lies on the western edge of the Charlotte metropolitan region. Both parents held steady jobs nearby. Harold worked as a dock loader, and Aquila was employed by Kauai American Manufacturing, where she built pianos. After school, the children would let themselves in, as the parents expected them to be doing their homework or have it completed by the time they returned home. The Degrees made it a priority to shield their children from external influences, fostering a life centered around the extended family, church, and school. On Sunday, February 13th, the children attended church with a relative before returning home. By around 8 p.m. that evening, both children had settled into bed in their shared room. Nearly an hour later, a nearby car accident caused a power outage in the neighborhood. Power was restored at 12:30 a.m., at which point Harold checked on his children and found Asha and O'Brien peacefully asleep in their beds. He looked in on them again just before going to bed himself at 2:30 a.m. on February 14th and confirmed they were both still there. Shortly thereafter, O'Brien, who was 10 at the time, recalls hearing Asha's bed creak. He chose not to fully awaken, assuming she was simply shifting in her sleep. At that moment, Asha got out of bed, grabbed a book bag she had packed with clothes and personal items, and left the house. Between 3:45 and 4:15 a.m., a truck driver and a motorist noticed her walking south along Highway 18, dressed in long-sleeved white t-shirt and white pants just north of the intersection with Highway 180. They reported this to the police after seeing a news segment about her disappearance. The motorist found it strange for a small child to be out alone at that hour, prompting him to turn around. He circled the area 3 times and saw Asha run into the woods by the roadside, where she disappeared. It was a rainy night, and the witness described a storm raging when he spotted her. County Sheriff Dan Crawford remarked, "We're pretty sure it was her because the description they provided aligns with what we know she was wearing." He added that they observed her in the same location, heading in the same direction. Aquila woke at 5:45 a.m. to get the children ready for school that day. This involved running a bath for them, as they had missed their evening bath due to a power outage. When she entered the children's room to wake them before their 6:30 alarm and invite them to the bath, she found O'Brien in his bed, but Asha was nowhere to be seen. After searching the house and family cars without success, Aquila informed Harold about their missing daughter. He suggested that Asha might have gone to his mother's house across the street. After calling there, her sister-in-law confirmed that Asha was not there. That's when she went into panic mode. She heard a car next door. She quickly put on her shoes and rushed outside. Aquila then called her mother, who advised her to reach out to the police. By 6:40 a.m., the first police officer had arrived at the scene. Police dogs brought in to help were unable to detect Asha's scent. Aquila searched the neighborhood, calling out her daughter's name, which she noted had awakened the entire area by 7 a.m. Friends, family, and neighbors canceled their plans for that day to join the police in searching the vicinity, while the pastor of their church and other local clergymen came to offer support to the Degrees. By the end of the day, only a mitten was discovered, which Aquila stated did not belong to Asha, emphasizing that no winter clothing had been taken from their home. Local news coverage led to 2 drivers who had seen Asha walking along the road that morning, including one attempted to approach her and seemed to cause Asha to flee into the woods to report their sightings to the police. On February 15th, candy wrappers were found in a shed at a nearby business along the highway, close to where Asha had been seen entering the woods. Alongside them were a pencil, a green marker, and a yellow hair bow identified as belonging to her. Additionally, a photograph of an unidentified black girl around Asha's age was discovered, marking the only trace of her found during the initial search. On February 16th, Aquila noticed that Asha's bedroom was missing her favorite clothes, including a pair of blue jeans with a red stripe. A week later, the search was called off at 9,000 man-hours and had been dedicated to searching a 2 to 3 mile radius from where she was last seen. Flyers had potential sightings to tips about abandoned houses and wells where Asha might have gone. "We have never really had that first good substantial lead," said the county sheriff, Dan Crawford, at a news conference, urging the media to keep the story alive. At the press conference on February 22, 2000, Crawford stated that he was taking a long-range approach to the search for Asha. Both the Federal Bureau of Investigations and North Carolina's State Bureau of Investigations became involved, adding to their missing children databases. Although the agencies concluded their searches in the vicinity of her home en route, Crawford emphasized, "We're following everything." Based on Aquila's description of what Asha had taken with her, investigators suspected that she had meticulously planned her departure in the days leading up to her disappearance. SBI agent Bart Beerbo remarked, "She's not your typical runaway." Additionally, Ben Ermini from the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children pointed out that most runaway children are at least 12 years old. An FBI agent also highlighted the absence of a triggering issue, such as a troubled family life or academic struggles, that might have led to her runaway. Nonetheless, investigators continued to believe that her departure was the most likely scenario, but suggested that she may have either lost her way or been abducted. The case gained national media attention. A month after Asha's disappearance, the Degree family appeared on the Montel Williams Show to raise awareness. Segments about Asha's case were also featured on America's Most Wanted and The Oprah Winfrey Show. In March 2000, law enforcement set up a full-size color billboard along Highway 18, displaying Asha's Degree's image and identifying details near the location where she was last seen. In May 2001, stock car driver Travis Kittleson showcased Asha's picture on the hood of his car during an event in Concord, North Carolina, which was aired live on TNN. Kittleson expressed, "We have a perfect opportunity to feature Asha's picture on our car, and hopefully we can bring her home." On August 3, 2001, Asha's book bag and other belongings were found during a construction project along Highway 18 in Burke County, close to Morgantown, approximately 26 miles north of Shelby. The bag was wrapped in 2 black trash bags, and the worker who discovered it reported that it contained Asha's name and phone number. The FBI took the items to their laboratory in Quantico, Virginia, for further forensic analysis. And on the 20th anniversary of Asha's disappearance, the FBI confirmed that the book bag contained a copy of Dr. Seuss's McElligot's Pool and a T-shirt featuring the band New Kids on the Block, neither of which appeared to belong to her prior to the discovery, and the book was from her elementary school library. Subsequent leads have proven to be unfruitful. In 2004, based on a tip allegedly received from an inmate at the county jail, the sheriff's office began excavating at an intersection in Lawndale. However, the bones that were uncovered were determined to be from an animal. In February 2015, the FBI announced that its agents, along with investigators from the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office and the State Bureau of Investigations, were revisiting the case and re-interviewing witnesses. They also offered a reward of up to $25,000 for any information that could lead to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for her disappearance. Additionally, a community group has provided further $20,000 reward. In May 2016, 15 months later, the FBI revealed that their reinvestigation had uncovered a potential new lead. They indicated that Asha might have been seen entering a dark green Lincoln Continental Mark IV or possibly a Ford Thunderbird from the early 1970s along Route 18 near the location where she was last spotted later that evening. The vehicle was noted to have rust around its wheel wells. In September 2017, the FBI announced that its Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team had arrived in Cleveland County to assist with the investigation and to provide on-the-ground investigative technique and behavioral analysis and analytical support to uncover more details about Asha's case. The team collaborated with FBI Charlotte personnel, investigators from the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office, and agents from the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigations for 10 days. These agencies also convene several times each month to discuss the latest developments in the investigation. Since September 2017, local agents and investigators have conducted approximately 300 interviews. In October 2018, the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office detectives appealed for information from the public about 2 items of interest that were found in Degree's book bag. McElligot's Pool, a children's book by Dr. Seuss, which was borrowed from the Fallston's Elementary School Library in 2000, and a New Kids on the Block concert T-shirt. An investigator said the items are vital clues. In November 2020, an inmate named Marcus Mellon, who had been convicted of sex crimes against children 6 years earlier, wrote a letter to the Shelby Star claiming that Degree was murdered and he knows where to find her. In February of 2021, Cleveland County Sheriff Alan Moorman announced that Mellon's claims had led to another dead end. In September 2024, a search warrant was executed by the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office and the FBI in relation to the disappearance of Asha Degree. A news release from the Sheriff's Office said the warrant was issued based on physical evidence in the case. No human remains were recovered, but multiple items of interest, including a green 1964 AMC Rambler, were taken from the site. The search warrant indicates that authorities believe Degree was a homicide victim and that her body has been concealed. 2 local residents, a husband and wife, were named as suspects in the case. North Carolina authorities now suspect that Asha Degree, who was just 9 years old when she vanished more than 20 years ago, was murdered. She disappeared from her home in Shelby in February 2000. On Monday in September 2024, investigators from the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office, the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, and the FBI carried out search warrants at several locations within the county. An affidavit related to the search warrant has disclosed new information regarding Degree's disappearance. 17 months after Degree was reported missing, a construction crew found 2 sealed black plastic bags along Highway 18 near Morgantown. Investigators revealed that the bags contained Degree's backpack and clothing. Among the items in the bags, 2 were identified as having evidentiary results linked to DNA samples, connecting the 2 individuals. One of these results was tied to Russell Underhill, who passed away in 2004. The other piece of evidence was a hair stem on Degree's shirt, which connected to a daughter of Roy Dedman. Officials determined that Degree is a victim of homicide with her body concealed because no one has had contact with her since her disappearance. The warrant refers to Roy Dedman and his wife Connie Dedman as suspects. The document stated, given the ages of Roy Dedman and Connie Dedman's 3 daughters in 2000, investigators believed that adult involvement from Roy and Connie Dedman would have been essential for carrying out and or covering up the crime. It was noted that Underhill was in Roy Dedman's care at the time of the alleged offense. The affidavit added Roy Dedman and Connie Dedman serve as the 2 common links connecting the DNA profiles of Russell Underhill and the Dedman's daughter, which were obtained from Asha's undershirt and the trash bag containing Asha's Degree's book bag. Among the items confiscated by authorities were a vehicle, journals, cameras, film, a black trash bag, a human tooth in a Ziploc bag, children's clothing, and various computers and laptops. However, no human remains were discovered during the search. A neighbor informed the investigators in an interview last week that she observed Roy Dedman excavating a hole that was chest deep on his property. And now you're up to date on the Asha Degree case. Was Asha Degree abducted? Or on a stormy, rainy night on Highway 18, did someone driving that older model green car hit Asha, killing her, and then dispose of her body? You've been listening to the case of Asha Degree on Deb's True Crime Notebook. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell for all notifications, share this story in groups and with your friends. And please leave us a comment about your thoughts about this case.